What is up, everyone? It is a boiling hot, sweaty day in IMNC HQ today, but we've got a cool package to check out, and we're going to be making quite a big change to the main setup. The tremendous support continues as I unbox another gift. This time, this is a gift all the way from the US. Richard, thank you so much, buddy. This is going to be awesome and something that I definitely need. As you guys know, I've recently rearranged my main setup, and this guy is a Thunderbolt dock. So let's dig in and take a look. Okay, so let's take a look and see if it has survived the journey. This is a nice solid box and a nice lot of bubble wrap. Now this dock is a Targus, I think I'm saying that right, Targus 210. So I'll leave a link to it in the video description for those of you who are curious about the specifications. Oh my gosh, it is a really nice quality heavy unit. Wow. Okay, so we have got the power supply, the brick to power this guy. We've also got a Thunderbolt cable, which is really nice because I don't actually have Thunderbolt cables lying around. And then, oh my word, look at this. Look at this machine. This is nice. Here is the dock itself. I was not expecting it to feel this solid. It is aluminium, it feels like, and just really nice. It feels a lot like Mac Mini plastic around the edges here as well, the quality of the plastic itself. Okay, so, oh my word, nice. Let's take a little closer look around this guy. So here's the front of the unit. We've got a power button, headphone jack, 3 USB ports conveniently on the front, and then on the back we have got a whole host of stuff. Power input, 2 DisplayPort connectors, 2 additional Thunderbolt connectors, audio in and out, gigabit Ethernet, and 4 USB port. I'm presuming these are all USB 3 as well. Yeah, I'm presuming that they're all USB 3 ports actually, because they've got the, I think that's the Super Speed logo, and then this one on the front here has got the lightning next to it, so that's dedicated for charging. So that is really cool. Now, one thing that strikes me straight away about this is the fact that we have got DisplayPort connectors. What I can do is order 2 DisplayPort cables and drive both of my monitors via DisplayPort if that is supported. I do have DisplayPort connectors on my monitors, so I'll have to do that. I don't have any cables, but that will be brilliant to do and really neat and tidy. Then I'll only have a single cable connected to the MacBook Pro, and of course the charger as well. But this will make my setup so much more streamlined. I mentioned in the previous setup video that I would love to get a dock, and now that I'm back in work, taking my laptop with me, it has been a pain unhooking it all the time. So let's not waste any time. Let's get this guy hooked up. We may have a slightly kind of sketchy way of connecting displays today, but we'll connect it all up anyway, and then when I get my hands on cabling, I can swap them out and run my displays via DisplayPort, so that'll be fantastic. This will also be really cool because it'll free up my gigabit Ethernet adapter that I like to keep in my bag because it's really handy for work. I can hook Ethernet straight up into the dock. So let's rejig my setup once again. Rich, thank you so much, buddy. This is awesome. So let me show you guys what we've got going here so far. It's actually turning out really well. So what I've done is removed the USB 3.0 hub that was sat underneath the dock. It looked horrible anyway, underneath the dock, sorry, underneath the Griffin elevator stand. It looked horrible, and now this looks way sleeker. So we've got the Thunderbolt dock sitting here, and it's sitting on one side on its rubber foot, and on the other side it's just sat on the cable management doohickeys that I've got stuck there. It's pretty even. This side is slightly higher, but it looks absolutely fine, and the width is actually really good, so that works out nicely. Now, what works out even better is the cabling. So all of the USB ports out the back are going to the stuff that was coming out of the USB hub and the MacBook Pro last time. So we've got the editing drive connected, my scratch disk over here, that's this SSD. We've got my Logitech webcam there. We've got the USB port feeding the USB hub in this monitor, which in turn is connected to my keyboard and mouse and gives me access to 2 USB ports on the side, although I've now got USB ports here, which is cool. And the red one is my audio interface. This is gigabit Ethernet. No, it's not. This is gigabit Ethernet, sorry. And it's freed up this adapter, so this can live in my bag again. I always need that out and about, so that's fantastic. And then I've got just the Thunderbolt cable connected itself here. So that is trailing out the side here. That'll be the only cable I'm plugging into the machine eventually. But for now, I've got this other mini display port connector that's coming out of here to go to one of the displays, and we've got HDMI to go to the other display. Now I've ordered 2 DisplayPort cables for this dock, so tomorrow they'll arrive via Amazon Prime. That means in this video we'll be able to set them up, which is fantastic. But right now what I want to do is just throw this on the setup and see if it works out. So we'll put my MacBook Pro back, we'll plug it in and see if it fires up. Now underneath, excuse the mess. As you guys know, I'm not making all of the cables neat and tidy under here with this temporary setup, but I do have the power supply for the dock right there. And all I need to do now is plug it in with the power cable. So I've dug out a UK power cable for it. Let's plug it in and we should be away to go. We now have a green light on the front, which is a very good sign. Next step is to grab my MacBook and plug it in. So here it is. It's currently just sleeping. So let's see how it copes with a slightly different configuration being plugged in. Just get things settled here because I've moved a few things around. There we go. There's room for the machine. Now I'll start with HDMI. And of course I need to plug the power cable in. Power cable is a little unfortunate on this setup. I just drape it across the desk. I do have a second MagSafe. I need to dig it out because I can then leave one here permanently. And let's plug in the Thunderbolt cable. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. How will everything react to that, I wonder? Okay. Wake up. Okay, so we now have a blue light on the front of the dock, but we don't appear to have any action from the machine. Also, no lights on my audio interface. Let's try and jab the power button on the front of the dock and see what that does. Now we're getting somewhere. Are we getting somewhere? Woo, okay. So, let's close the lid. Here we go, lovely. So we are up with our 2 displays, and it looks like, yeah, it treated that as, because I opened the lid, it treated that as the third one, but that's okay. We'll be able to just rectify that. Now, some really good signs. We've got access to my scratch disk, so the USB portion is working. Let's see if we can load that up. There we go. And let's do a quick disk speed test on the external SSD to see if it gets what I expect it to get. This is only an MSATA external SSD. It's not like an M.2 NVMe drive or anything like that, so it's not the fastest thing. I expect a sort of few hundred megabytes per second, and yeah, that's right in line with what I'd expect. Nearly 300 on the write, and on the read 350 odd on the read, so that's absolutely perfect. Let's check something else. Let's check our network. Aha, okay, so we're currently running on Wi-Fi. Let's turn Wi-Fi off. Okay, let me just try and pull the connector and plug it back in before we start troubleshooting any further. Okay, so it's interesting that Ethernet isn't working. We will look at that in a second. So I've just done a little test and I'm still struggling to see why the Ethernet isn't working. I've restarted the machine just in case a reboot would help. That hasn't done anything. I've connected Ethernet via my USB dongle here to the front of the docking station and that works absolutely fine. But when I plug Ethernet into the back of the dock, directly into the gigabit Ethernet port, there's the magic click. When I come up to network, it still doesn't want to connect, which is kind of bizarre. let's have a look. Ah, she's connected. Okay, excellent. That is really good news. So it's now working. As you can see, Wi-Fi is off and we're connected to the internet. Let's just double check that by just going to Safari and we'll just type in a website. Ooh, would you look at that? It's my YouTube channel. Let's do a little speed test just for the internet connection itself. And I'm seeing my sort of full 60-ish meg, which is great. So if we do a Blackmagic disk speed test once again to this time one of my servers, let's do Scaro and let's do my IMNC files, share, and this is testing. File transfer over the network, I get just under 100 megabytes a second on the write, which is completely normal for Scaro. And then on the read, I get just over 100 megabytes a second on that system as well. So the wired Ethernet connection is working really nicely. It just needed a little bit of time to work itself out, I guess. So patience is important, something that I lack when I'm playing with new tech. So we are up and running with the Thunderbolt dock. It looks gorgeous and we've got full functionality. Now, what we'll do tomorrow when my package arrives, we will eliminate this HDMI connector and also eliminate the DVI to mini DisplayPort cable that we're currently using for the other monitor. So it'll be a completely new connection for both monitors, both connected to the dock. I've looked up online, apparently that will work. It'll do a single stream of 4K or two normal resolution monitors out of the dock. So I'm pretty excited about this. It'll be very, very convenient to just pop out that Thunderbolt cable and take my MacBook with me because, man, it's been a pain in the ass. It is the next day and the lovely Amazon fairies have been and dropped off our cables. So let's take a look. 1, 2. Now you may be wondering why these boxes are different sizes. Well, when I was ordering these, I kind of thought to myself, this is a temporary setup and I've never owned DisplayPort cables before. I may need them in the future, who knows? But what I decided to do for future flexibility was get one of a different length. So we've got one 3-foot, which is this guy, and one 6-foot, which is this guy. So that is a 0.9 meter and a 1.8 meter. So depending on what happens in the future, I'll have a couple of different lengths to choose from as opposed to just having two of the same cable. Sometimes we have these thoughts for kind of an unknown reason, I guess. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but anyway, let's plug them in. Well, let's take a look at them first. They're Amazon Basic cables, and where's my knife? Ah, there we go. So let's take a look at the shortest. I broke the box even though I cut the tape. Okay, let's take a look at the shortest one. And, you know, with all Amazon Basics cables, I find they are absolutely fine. You can get them next day with Amazon Prime, and they are absolutely fine quality. Okay, so we have one pretty short display cable, so that is definitely something. And then we've got the longer one, of course. Let's rip into this guy as well, we may as well. So that's this one released as well. As you can see, that is quite a bit longer, so that gives a lot more flexibility. So a long one and a short one, for whatever reason my brain decided at the time. Now let's clear a little bit of space on the desk, because what I'm going to do, folks, is, because this is actually quite a big change for the desk, it's only a couple of cables, but because I've got the DVI connectors in the back of the monitors at the moment, I'm going to have to pull the monitors out, kind of turn them around to try and get the connectors out. Then I'm going to have to fish out those cables, and there is a sort of nice cable loom on this monitor with some Velcro ties and stuff, so it's not going to be the most straightforward thing in the world, but it will be worth doing, most definitely. And what I'm actually going to do is shut down my computer completely, because I think fiddling with the dock and then trying to plug it back in and expect the computer to know what's going on is a little bit crazy. So let's shut it down completely, then we'll start afresh when this is reconnected. So let's go for it. There we are. That is the machine completely shut down. So we will just pull out our cables, and for the last time we'll be pulling out this HDMI cable, which is nice. Now I'm just going to carefully stack my two MacBook Pros together over to the side here, and just turn those around as well. Okay, now we've got some space to work with. Guys, one thing I've just noticed is the dock is absolutely boiling hot. It really is roasting. To the touch, it's okay to touch it with your hands, but if I touch it with a more sensitive part of my body, like the underside of my arm, where the soft skin is, that is really quite hot there. Well, the DisplayPort cables are a lot easier to plug in than DVI or VGA. That is one huge bonus. I've done that monitor over there. I'm just untwiddling this cable. I have finally freed that cable. Now, it's not such a good story for the other cable. The one from the other monitor I have sort of left dangling underneath the desk at the moment anyway. I might be able to get it out later, but if it's tied up in a load of Velcro under there, then I'm just not going to bother. It's not doing any harm under there. Okay, so that is in the monitor. Now it's just a case of plugging this into the dock. And there we have it. That is plugged in. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Let's move this USB cable. So I've got my monitors roughly lined up and we're looking okay-ish. I can fine tweak them in a minute when I figure out that everything is working. Cabling is looking a bit messy obviously because I've just thrown it all together. But let's give it a go. Let's try and just plug this in and see how it does. So there's my MacBook, and now the beauty of this is, by the way, I didn't get a chance to go up to the attic. It's been absolutely boiling weather, so it'll be roasting up there. I'll fish out the second MagSafe connector next time. Single Thunderbolt cable then for everything else. Let's plug it in. Okay, so that's all plugged in, and let's boot up the machine, and let's see what happens with our displays. I'm quite intrigued. So that's a good sign. We've got an Apple logo on the one on the right hand side. No signal on the one on the left currently. Okay, so just the one display detected currently. Let's log in and take a look at what we see in the display preferences. Okay. Oh, my heart stopped for a second then. I thought that it wouldn't work with two displays connected to the dock. Ah, okie dokie. So that is okay. The only thing that I need to do is adjust the arrangement because they're backwards. So let's plop that guy over there, and main display is that one. So there we have it. That is now back to normal. Let's just check we've got network, because yesterday we did see a little bit of strange behavior with the network, and yes, look at that. It seems to have sorted itself out just fine. So we've got network connectivity, we've got two displays, everything running from a single Thunderbolt. Ooh. Okay. I guess I better not touch it too much. So there we have it. My entire setup is running through a single Thunderbolt cable, which is quite crazy for me because I've never really owned any Thunderbolt accessories. The only thing I've had really is a Thunderbolt to Firewire dongle, and I mean that doesn't count. So this is pretty bonkers to me to see it with my own eyes in person, finally, after all these years of hearing how capable the Thunderbolt interface is. It's really cool to see it. So, single cable driving two displays, gigabit Ethernet, USB 3.0 to a load of devices, USB 2 devices. It's just incredible, really cool. So, Rich, thank you so much for this. It's absolutely awesome. Your generosity is really appreciated, and it's a really nice little addition to the setup, and it'll make my life a lot easier. And thank you to everybody else for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one.